Hello, beautiful soul. I hope you're having a beautiful fucking Friday. So, hey, beautiful soul, what's up? It's me. What's up? So, let's talk. Let's have. So, today's episode is going to revolve around toxic positivity, pretty much. So just wanted to talk to y'all. Let's see the comments that are coming in. Hey, Bobo, what's up? How are you? So I hope you're remembering that you're a baddie, that you're bad as fuck, you're a badass, and know your worth, draw your boundaries, draw them strong, and don't let anyone have you fucked up. Pretty much. Haven't seen you forever. What's up? So, hello, beautiful souls. So yeah, let me just see right here. Can I like these? Can I do shout outs on this thing? Hold on, I'm figuring it out. Okay. Hello, Rose. How are you, boo boo? Hey, what's up? Hey, boo boo. Nice to see you. Hey, boo. Nice to see you as well. All right. So today's message, so let me switch it up real quick. Hanny, let me switch it up real quick. The message for today. Shit, almost dropped it. Okay. Okay. So today the energy today is a little bit more uplifted. I feel like a lot of stuff is gonna start, making sense for a lot of people. That's pretty much the collective message I'm getting. So continue to go with the flow. Continue to, yeah, there's bumps in the road and etc. But just remind yourself that that you've got this, but also at the same time, don't be afraid of stuff that comes up too at the same time. And that kind of pretty much leads me into the, conversation that I kind of want to have, with regards to like things like toxic positivity and whatnot. So, I mean, by definition, pretty much, I mean, I pulled up the official definition of what it means. So, kinda, hold on if I can fucking find it. Okay, hold on. So by definition, I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. So basically, toxic positivity is the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. And mind you, that it's beneficial to be optimistic. It's beneficial to be positive. I get that. But at the same time, you can't ignore your authenticity, your honest feelings about a situation. That's how we get into things such as gaslighting, etc. Right? Don't allow yourself to be gaslit into bullshit. So hey, boo boo. Hi, Bobo. So yeah, that's the message. In terms of like just allowing yourself. Hold on, I have to turn this off, otherwise it's going to distract me. Okay, so by definition, it's just pretending like there's not an issue. But if there is, don't be afraid to express. And that's why I said don't be afraid of what comes up for you within the next day, within the next couple days, etc. Because in all sincerity, in all honesty, there's a lot of people, or just people in general, when we're glowing up, doing our own thing, being badasses, etc., we learn how to draw boundaries for ourselves. And if we're learning to draw boundaries for ourselves and we don't define what those boundaries are, some people, right, can come in and dictate what those boundaries should be for us. And if they dictate what those boundaries are for us, then since those boundaries are dictatable, they get to define those and then absolve themselves of any wrongdoing because they had the upper hand to dictate what those boundaries are. So that's why it's so important to define your own boundaries and not allow yourself to get gaslit into thinking that you have to abide by someone else's, boundaries or jump through hoops for someone else, that kind of thing, right? So don't allow, this thing keeps fucking falling. Son of a bitch. Okay, anyway. So just don't allow yourself to get gaslit, boo. So yeah. If you're new, welcome. If you have been here before, you already know that you're about to get read to fucking filth. Okay. So but yeah, in just some instances, like just kind of, putting myself out there kind of a little bit, I've had friendships like that. I've had connections like that where the boundaries, I didn't know how to draw boundaries. I didn't know how to dictate what was okay and what was not okay. And I gaslit the hell out of I gaslit the hell out of myself. And I think that, there's just a tendency to, gaslight yourself when you're barely learning of how to draw boundaries because, we're always taught, at least that's from my experience, like growing up and etc. Like you're taught to trust this person, that person, the other person, that when you, without having any sense of space, boundaries, etc. Because that's just selfish, right? Fuck that fucking shit. Okay. So again, draw your boundaries and don't, you know, walk away from, the feelings that you have per se. If something's an issue, something's a problem, don't be afraid to, bring it up because I feel like, just sometimes we have this ability to gaslight ourselves sometimes, but also talking more about toxic positivity, and we're talking more about, it's kind of like a synonym type example of something in the spiritual community that's called spiritual bypassing, right? So what's spiritual bypassing? Pretty much the same thing. It's similar in the sense that you ignore or just kind of gloss over what the spiritual experience pretty much is. Butterflies, rainbows, etc. That's not what a fucking spiritual fucking experience is. It's tower moment after tower moment, and that's okay. Things are messy, life's messy, etc. Todo, okay? Y todo. Y todo. So, just, and don't shame yourself for that, even if you're bringing awareness to what your boundaries are, don't beat yourself up for, you know, eh, time wasted, etc. That shit is so fucking useless. Allow yourself to just be with the fucking experience, But I mean, so yeah, don't bypass the things that are actually going to help and take you to the next level, you know? And it's very common to do these kinds of things with, let's say, friends we've had for years, but also family too at the same time. Let's be honest, that's probably the hardest place to draw boundaries for a lot of people, and sometimes, it's understandable too, where, you grow up with a certain perception that you just have to let certain people in, but just don't, um, just be truthful with you, etc. So we'll come back to the message real quick, but let me see what comes up with this reading. Okay, Bobo. We're gonna draw a few cards. Okay, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, Bobo. Okay. Okay. I like this comment right here. Okay. I'm still learning to step in my boundaries, like standing my ground, because then I go, yeah. So that's another thing. This is a perfect example of, for example, like staying consistent with those boundaries too. Like you make a boundary, you're like, okay, it's this. Like I'm defining it like this, and then all of a sudden, it's like someone crosses the boundary, and you're like, uh, uh, wait, you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Give me a minute. Pause. They just crossed the boundary, but then they're like, already. But then that's because that person or that party lacks lacks awareness of their, ability to kind of cross boundaries without worrying or without kind of even fucking thinking about it, you know? So, and and then here comes, that toxic positivity when it comes to things like it's not a big deal. Like, okay, I know that's your boundary. I get it. But like, it's just like real quick, like bullshit, bullshit, bull fucking shit. Okay. If it's your boundary, stick to it. Okay. You're like, wait a minute, hold on, honey. They just crossed the boundary. But I mean, stick to your boundaries. Even if you feel like shaky, even if you feel, honey, I always get nervous. My voice shakes, oh my God, all the time. I had instances I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even speak. Forever, I had this kind of experience because, kind of just getting like um, real for a minute. Well, I mean, I'm being real, but even more real. Back when I was in grade school, I was made fun of for my voice. I used to have a very high pitched voice when I was a kid, and I was bullied horrendously for it, ever till probably till high school. So we're talking like someone who's in kindergarten going all the way through fucking high school being told that you know, uh, you know, sound to this, that, and the other. I was called the F slur all the time because of that, etc. and whatnot. So, I mean, it got pretty bad, but I mean, I just remember, the only way for me to kind of confront that experience was to be real about myself and be real with my voice and how my voice sounded, because I was they always called me like a late bloomer, you know? So, I mean, I didn't know what the fuck that was back then, but I mean, I was like, what does that mean? And then, I'm just impatient and whatnot and etc. But, you know, when you get bullied, you have a tendency to get gaslight too. It's like, no, that's bullying to me. No, that's not right for you to say that, this, that, and the other. I mean, like back then it was, dealing, like I was younger in grade school, and whatnot. But, when you come from a bullying experience and then you get bullied as an adult, etc., this, that, and the other, because it bleeds over and transitions over sometimes into our adult experience, you know, we get gaslit there too. Like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Again, going back to that statement, it wasn't that bad. And just for kind of like reference a little bit, I just remember I don't you fucking I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Oh well, we'll come back to it. Hold on real quick. Give me a minute because this is acting up a little bit here. So how are you guys feeling? How's your day? How's your day going, Boo Boo? We as human always okay, I like this comment too. We as humans always have a tendency to be so attached with something or someone attachment. It's not easy. Yeah, it isn't. It isn't, like, and that's that attachment style to to having to respect, other people, but in return, sometimes we're disrespecting ourselves. We're disrespecting our own boundaries. We're disrespecting, where our own self-worth, etc., this, that, and the fucking other, you know. So, oh man, I thought I'd remember that. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much that when it comes to, toxic positivity and whatnot. Just don't, like not letting yourself get, gaslit and everything, with, the situation and whatnot, because, it can overpower you and just kind of just make you feel like, like bullying's okay. Like it's okay for them to cross your boundaries. It's okay for them to not respect your time, your energy, or your effort, and etc. This, that, and the other. So, I mean, just be, and also it goes down to the notion too. I used to hate hearing like um it's that it'll kind of I'm trying to pan it out what I'm wanting to say here, because this is such a heavy topic for me, to be honest, because like being gaslit constantly, and then there's many things going on. So, you kind of just want to not, because this is such a heavy topic for me, because I've dealt with so many instances where people have kind of doubted like what I've said in a lot of instances, this, that, and the other. So, a lot of stuff is just like stuff might be coming up for you guys, it's also coming up for me too, at the same time. So let me just read a comment here. I was bullied because I was more, and they really messed me up with my self-esteem. Yeah, yeah, I get that for sure, Bobo. Because and especially like respecting where people are at too, because sometimes people can have, like a condescending nature in terms of like thinking that, that they are kind of superior, or kind of that you're more in a lower stance than they are, especially, when it comes to things like, like status, or when it comes to things like, being emotionally more mature, this, that, and the other. Sometimes people, will gaslight us from our own feelings, or make us feel like where we are at is not valid, and that's bullshit, So, yeah, that's bullshit. So, yeah. I want to come back to this message because I feel like there's more to say and more to unpack. But I think we're going to move to the collective reading real quick. Bobo, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay. 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 Okay, Bobo. Okay. But anyway, like I said, I didn't expect this topic to be so freaking heavy, but it is. It's a toxic positivity is a heavy one, because again, it's just like, you know, it's if you're in a room with people telling you it's okay, and you're literally telling them, no, it's not. No, that doesn't make sense to me. No, that doesn't add up. No, that doesn't respect my space, my energy, this, that, and the fucking other. Then it's valid. And allowing your opinion to, not opinion, but your validity, your stance, your point of view to, speak true, with regards to your clarity. You're like, no, I'm not invalid because I'm expressing a certain opinion, this, that, and the other, or a perspective and whatnot. Now I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so this one's always made me think a little bit, because you know when you're going through something, or you're expressing your opinion, this is where I was going. When you're expressing your opinion, and someone, so let's say you're expressing some traumatic event, etc., this, that, and the other, and then you're working through it, this, that, and the other. I've experienced this with past you know people that I've talked to, with regards to like past spiritual advisors, past friends that I've tried to communicate things with, but would get told my perspective was invalid, etc. But I would go through experiences where I was telling my events or my perspective on my trauma, this, that, and the other. And I don't know how you guys feel about this statement per se, but this statement kind of rubs me the wrong way in some instances. It's the statement, you're talking about your experience, and before you get it all out, they stop and they say, well, I mean, you're not the only one, so there's that, so I get that. That statement can have some genuinity behind it, so I'm not saying it's intentional, but sometimes it can be, depending on the instance where that person maybe just doesn't want to hear your shit, etc. But what if your stuff needs to be expressed? That wouldn't be the person to express it to, because they're not going to hold space for you, because they're showing like maybe that they're irritated, etc. So when I hear that, I hear like, shut up, stop talking, because, but the intention behind it is you're not alone. Right. But I think that statement doesn't help in some instances because it doesn't allow the person to get their specific story out. Their specific story out. So if someone's going to hold space for someone else, if we're going to hold space for this person's story, etc., and whatnot, for the transaction of energy, if you want to call it that, to be fully reciprocal, there'd be a need to have to let them fully express that, and then maybe upon that, something to the effect of like, you know, showing some form of relatability to their story, or just hearing them out, holding space, whatever. So I get that, and I get that there's not always malicious intent behind a statement like that. I'm not saying it's a malicious statement. I'm just saying it's not always helpful. It's not always the most helpful statement, because maybe sometimes, you know, someone doesn't necessarily need to hear that they're not alone, but rather that their story is valid and it's heard, you know? So that's a take on that statement. And I don't know why that was coming up, but I'm just going to trust it because I trust intuition. Intuition's bad as fuck at this point. So trust it. Love yourself, trust yourself, right? But anyway, so you know, so your story is valid and what you have to say is valid, you know, but I just think before, you know, there's a block with, you know, believing that we're part of the collective or that we're not alone, this, that, and the other. I think we have to get through that block where we're like, okay, we can say our story, we can stand firm in our story, we can stand firm in what we're saying. And, you know, finding people that are, you know, in our life that are willing to hear that story without kind of being a fucking jackass about it. But anyway, but, you know, so, you know, so it kind of is kind of like, it kind of like cuts you off. That's how it is. That's how I've experienced it, you know, especially in spiritual situations too, with regards to like, I remember one time I was experiencing a hypnotherapy session one time. This was years ago. And I was talking about, you know, I just think that if you're gonna be in that space that holds space for people's energy, etc., you know, a lot of people have this tough love fucking approach to shit, and it doesn't fucking add up to me. It just really fucking doesn't. It doesn't add up to shit. You know, they use it to be a fucking asshole. A fucking asshole. It's like that's not helping. Tough love is not, because let me tell you, tough love, what people interpret as tough love isn't tough love. It's straight up projection with being a fucking asshole and fucking addition to that. Okay? Tough love, in my opinion, the real quote unquote tough love is the one that gives you truth and clarity, and also solution at the end, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, optimism, empathy. You know, so it's like if you're going to give advice, if you're going to give perspective, you have to be tapped into that empathy. If the empathy is lacking, the person's going to leave fucking confused. They're not going to know what the fuck happened, you know? So, you know, so it's like that can kind of branch off from toxic positivity in some instances, because it's like that person's not willing to talk about their shit, so they're trying to hold the space and capacity for someone else, but they can't because they're triggered by the fact that this person that they're holding space for is talking about their shit 100 miles a minute. I saw a video on TikTok too the other day. If you don't follow me on TikTok, why not? Anyway, so so I saw a video on TikTok the other day where this therapist made a video saying, I'm not ever allowing a client again to trauma dump in the session in a session with me again. And it's like, the fuck? The fuck? That's literally what I mean. What it just didn't, I was like, excuse me, what does that mean? You know, like you're in therapy, there's trauma that's going to come up. So anyway, the video got reported so many times it got deleted, so I couldn't even watch it fully. But I mean, that's what I mean, you know? If you're going to be in a field where you're helping, etc., you know, work through and own your shit, you know, and realize that, you know, you're holding space for shit that comes up. I don't know. That's just my perspective on that. And, you know, so when energy is being exchanged like that, especially within spiritual practices, spiritual spaces, etc., you know, so, you know, when I, like, for example, when I start my sessions, etc., when I read for people, you know, I let them know, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Tell me. I'm here. I'm here to hear it, you know, because that's what, whatever comes up for them, then we can go deeper with what that is and what that means to them and providing clarity within the situation, you know? So, you know, it's just, there's a lot of people giving help, giving advice, but they damn sure don't know how to fucking take it their fucking selves. And I've had friends like that. I've had ex-relationships like that, where it's like, motherfucker, didn't you tell me to get my life together? Okay, cool. Why why can't you receive the same? Why can't you hear the same? Because you can't. Okay, that's something for you to look at as well, you know? And then that, again, it just provides a lot of projection on their end. Whoever it is, this doesn't even have to be someone who's in self-help. This can be a friend, this can be an ex, etc. You know? So, you know, so that's how I do that, boo-boo. Damn, that was deep. Henny, that took a minute. That took a minute for me to talk about. Because I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna be real. I got my own fucking blocks, you know, when it comes to shit and when it comes to talking about things like being gaslit like crazy, you know, because I felt for so many years and for so long like I was talking to fucking no one while gaslighting myself at the same time until I said, no, this is bullshit. There's a problem. And even if I am missing a piece of the puzzle, my piece of the puzzle fucking matters too. You know, it takes two to tango here. The fuck? Anyway, so, you know, so, you know, let's just see what the cards have to say. Okay. Let's see what the cards have to. Okay, so I can't show the cards on podcast mode, obviously, but I can show you. You hear that, Bobo? You hear that? Boom. Oh no, wait, the microphone's right here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. First card that comes up. So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the post live, welcome. If you're new, hi Bobo, welcome, beautiful soul. And if you've been here already, you already know that you're about to get right to fucking filth. Okay, so first card. Oh, the death card. That's fuck. Okay, so the death card's all about. This is a card about this. The sign about it is Scorpio. So this is a card about transformation, transition, but it's also endings. You know, the picture of it in the traditional sense, it has someone who's basically riding after the battle. Okay, you're riding into a new paradigm. You're riding into a new perspective. And that's why we have to go deep sometimes. We have to go deep because we have to be willing to listen to what that transition, that transformation fucking is. Okay, so what does that transformation, what does that transition look like? Mind you, it might not be immediate. You might not immediately understand the fact that there's a transformation that has to take place. You may be going through it and not even know what the fuck it is yet. And that's okay. That's okay. Just be with it, right? So, you know, oh wait, hold on. I was actually gonna put other what I felt like I wanted to bring this up real quick. Okay, I have that kind of experience when I felt is someone abandoned me during the time that I was so vulnerable. I feel like I'm entitled to express. Yeah, you are entitled to express how you feel, but and you know, yeah, don't gaslight yourself for sure. You know, don't gaslight, and that could be, you know, that could be part of transformation for you too. For the comment I just brought up, you know, so again, don't gaslight yourself. Don't, and also don't be afraid to go deeper with, you know, your with your truth, with your experience. Next card, okay? Two of Cups. Oh yeah, look at, I mean, okay, when our Two of Cups is about forgiveness, friendship, union, etc. You know, authenticity within, you know, unifying with something that means the most to us. Now, ask yourself, what means the most to you? Okay, the Two of Cups can also signify maybe you're working through forgiveness and you feel like you forgive them, right? But you still define the experience in a way that has a negative connotation. And that gets me into a whole, that makes my blood boil. Okay. When people will tell you, and this perception is sometimes unfortunately popular in, the spiritual paradigm of things, spiritual, like that your forgiveness has to be expressed in a form of pleasantries, and I don't necessarily fucking agree with that. That's my perspective, that's how I see it. So it's okay to be in a state of healing. It's okay to be in a healed space and still define your boundary crosser, your shitty friend that stabbed you in the back, shitty ex, your boundary crosser, abuser, etc. They're still allowed to exist as defined by the adjective motherfucker in your new experience, even though you've already transformed. You are allowed to have that adjective. You are allowed to express that adjective even in a healed or from a transformed perspective. It's allowed. And I think that that conversation needs to be talked about more and more and more. It's like, like, oh no, I define them as this because, I don't want to bring back those vibrations, this, that, bull fucking shit. I mean, if that works for another party, etc., fine. But there has to be room for the other perspective that, hey, I'm here in my life, I'm here, and that person, that situation sucked. That person treated me like shit. That person was an asshole. And that's okay because that's real. Okay? So, anyway, and yeah, that's just how I feel about that. Okay? So I've defined that perspective a few times on a few of my lives. So again, Two of Cups, new relationships and better, working through forgiveness a lot better. Lots of partnership cards coming up here. Okay, so again, we have the Two of Cups, the Two of Pentacles right here, two at the same time. Moving forward. So I mean, Two of Pentacles coming up, you're achieving balance because there's balance between the two. But also too, at the same time, with the Two of Pentacles, it's a card about taking on more than we want to. So I'm kind of getting a feeling from this card that we want to bring the old with us into the new. So define what that is for you. What has ended, but you're feeling like you owe it some form of obligation, or you owe it some form of like connection, but you really don't. You really don't, boo boo. You don't owe any form of connection to this old paradigm or this old thing. Okay, because with the death card defining the whole experience, I mean, you've got endings. If they haven't already happened, they're happening already. And we lack confidence within that. With the Eight of Swords too, at the same time, Eight of Swords is about that lack of confidence. But don't entrap yourself. This card can also represent that tendency to kind of psych ourselves out, like I've been saying with gaslighting yourself. So don't psych yourself out from the new that comes towards you, and don't psych yourself out with what you really need to let go of. If even if it's something small, what if it provides more, prosperity for you, because now there's room for that prosperity as a result, so be okay with whatever that prosperity looks like, whatever it is, Henny. Okay. So yeah. Okay, Six of Swords here. Moving on. Man, so, okay, shit. Okay, Six of Swords right here. Going from the Eight of Swords, Six of Swords, leaving something behind, moving on. So, I mean, I don't know what you're leaving behind, Boo-Boo, but I mean, keep going. This is beautiful energy, okay? In the sense that you're empowered to leave something behind for good. But I mean, too, the message with the Six of Swords is things get better from here. you've already gone through the transformation for a lot of you, I feel, whether you're watching this live or post live. You've gone through that transformational process of, you know, having to go against, you know, those nights where you just lost sleep, those nights where you just, you know, maybe, you know, someone like to play with your emotions intentionally, someone like to, you know, kind of, I'm almost getting this vision of someone that kind of would kind of like to push your buttons in a way that made you have anxiety, made you have fear, etc. Now, some of you see good in this person still. That's what I'm seeing here, is that some of you see good in this individual or what they bring to the table or something like that. So, I mean, they don't. They don't, because they're not fair, because they're always right. Their perception always has to be right. They have to get the most respect. They have to get the most um they have to get the most. They have to be right. They have to get the most respect. Their boundaries have to be respected, but again, they don't have to respect yours, this, that, and the other. And I mean, talking about toxic positivity being the theme of, you know, of the reading and of the message, etc., and the thing that branches off in different directions here. I mean, this could set the tone for, you know, an individual who, you know, pretty much, you know, makes us feel like everything's okay when we know that everything's doesn't feel okay. Because again, the Knight of Pentacles reversed right here. So this could be someone who acts like they have it together, but they don't. This could be someone that you know, lacks consistency, lacks discipline. It's so interesting because I feel like you have this discipline. You have this you have this ability to make money. You have this ability to be independent. You have this ability to be dedicated to your dreams, etc. But I feel like you're walking away from, you know, people, situations who don't provide this themselves. And this could be the thing that we're carrying into the new paradigm. Now, we don't want, not everyone is going to be like this in our life, and I think that's what we're scared of here. Is everyone going to be like this to us? Is everyone going to shit on us, pretty much? That's how it sounds. You know, are they going to be, you know, wishy-washy, this, that, and the other, lack consistency, lack availability, this, that, and the fucking other? So again, you know, and I feel like this person liked to use tough love on you, or this situation was tough. This situation was tough, but you've known this person for a while, and there's things that we have to confront from the past here, okay? Because we got the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups, it's a card that talks about nostalgia. This is nostalgia coming through and ending that nostalgia, ending that lack of communication. This person did not communicate. There was so much inconsistency here, and I feel like a lot of this is coming up because this is what you're very well healing from. I feel like a lot of you don't even communicate with this person anymore because the Five of Swords came up. The Five of Swords is a card about lack of communication too at the same time, you know? And again, there we go, where there'll be the people who did you wrong, people who didn't see your worth, etc. They they're the ones that are going to regret in the end. They're the ones, you know, and that's not because they're just, you know, doomed for failure. No, it's because they've done this to other people. They've done this to you and others. So that has a price tag on it. That has a price. You have to pay for that. There's a payment that's required. The universe doesn't take fucking payment plans, okay? I mean, you can try, but I mean, you know, so it's like you've went through this suffering type of experience, and it's coming towards an end, honey. Okay, the Sun card right there. Sun card is pretty, you know, it's pretty much a card of like, yes, positivity, abundance, radiance. Don't deny this for yourself. You know, you're getting better clarity, but also you're getting things done for yourself too at the same time. I mean, you're too, I want you to say it with me, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Okay, too blessed to be stressed. We're not doing that, you know, we're not stressed out with A, B, C, got to get this done, that done, and the other thing done. Right. And and this is a chapter for you to get excited about, not taking the stress on from the past, that doesn't allow us to move forward with confidence. It's like now you have the moment, now you have the radiance, now you have the permission to move on, to move forward, to move in a better direction. Okay, so now that you have this clarity because you're getting organized, etc., you're transforming through that organization, but also that masculine energy too is coming up, boo. So again, you know, you're too blessed to be stressed, but also the Four of Swords right here. Some of you need a vacation. Some of you guys need a vacation. Anyway, okay, so, you know, self-care here too at the same time. I mean, some of you might be going on a trip or, you know, thinking about going on a trip in some regard, some capacity. Or, Henny, it could just be as simple as going somewhere, you know, as going somewhere. You know, the Four of Wands can be a card that talks about vacations, etc. Damn, King of Swords and the Emperor. Shit. Okay. Um, okay. I feel like some of you have a secret admirer for some of you. Okay. So take that only if it vibes with you, Henny. This would be someone new. That's what I see. And they could be someone at a distance a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, that's what they hold back their emotions though. King of Swords, very protective type of person, type of gentleman here. But King of Swords, he holds his shit in when it comes to feelings, you know? So, I mean, if that resonates, boo boo, okay? So, if you're just like, no, I don't want this, fuck this. So, if that's your drift there, you know, it's you can obviously say no. You can say no. Be like, I'm working on me right now, boo boo. I'm working on me. You know, affirm what you want. You can even blow it up in the comments, you know, and say like, I'm working on me. I'm doing my thing. I got, you know, because you got decisions to make. You could also have a decision on a project coming up soon, a project that could give you money. You have passion, but you want to decide what you want to use that passion for. This could be like a talent, etc., because Two of Wands can represent, again, talents, projects connected to our passion being talent. And also Six of Pentacles right there at the same time. That's new in opportunities to get help, invest, have money, receive abundance, etc. Okay? So, and when you get this abundance, plant, like Spirit's wanting me to say, like plant the seeds accordingly. Plant the seeds to what you want to take place. For some of you, this is going to lead to recognition. Okay? Now, recognition right here, we got the Six of Wands. That's recognition on a grand scale, on a small scale, whatever the case is, it's recognition. So receive the recognition. For some of you, I feel like you have to hear like take the compliment, because some of you are bad at taking a compliment, because we're coming into Empress mode right here. That's the card that came out next. And Empress is all about nurturing the self, nurturing our growth, nurturing us. So I mean, don't you're like a pro at, you know, hearing the red flags when it comes to, for some of you it's career, for some of you it's relationships and connections, etc. So I mean, you're really good at that. So be okay with identifying, you know, what it looks like for you, you know. And there's a lot of self-care here because Empress is a self-care card, you know, for yourself, from the perspective that you don't, you know, have self-care, or you can't have self-care, you know. And there's learning and forgiveness through that too, forgiving yourself for not thinking that you're valuable enough to deserve, you know, recognition or self-care, etc., you know. So I have a romance deck here, so I'm gonna do it more like for self-love, but I mean romance stuff can come up too. So I mean, okay, calling in soulmate. Okay, so how I'm interpreting this oracle card is you're calling in better people. Okay, soulmate clients, soulmate jobs, where people, you know, like it matches you, soulmate friends, soulmate relationships, etc. You're here now. You're here in this vibe, if you want to call it that, vibe, etc. From, you know, like in this space where you're just dancing with better. Okay, so And it's not about not fucking it up or anything. You've already learned to get to this point. So whatever you're doing, keep moving forward, keep progressing, because that's how you take care of yourself. That's how you take care of your inner empress. Wear your crown, you know? So, that's what I feel that the message is, transformation right there with the death card. But I mean, as you work through it, Henny, you grow and you expand in much better perspectives, paradigms, etc. You know, you know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, but like I said, you know, that was the collected message, Boo Boo. I kind of want to go to the message from before, kind of talking about I can't talk. Anyway, toxic positivity a little bit, and whatnot. Just kind of like some finishing notes, etc. So again, what the things that I said today, don't gaslight yourself, okay? Your perspective is valid. Find people that are open to that perspective, okay? And if someone's not open to that perspective, fuck that motherfucker, okay? Draw the boundary and move forward, move on. If they can't give you that place to give energy, and then where it's like reciprocal, like in a reciprocal experience, there's some people that just won't be able to give you that, and that's them. That's cool. That's fine. So look for reciprocal experiences, you know and um you know you deserve to be um you deserve to have authentic expression and authentic connection within those things as well, boo boo. Okay? So just don't, you know, and don't be afraid of what comes up for you that's new. That's another form of toxic positivity in some senses too, and aka, like spiritual bypassing in some stuff, in some senses, like if it comes up and the emotions like, you know what, this feeling sucks right now. Okay, it sucks. Okay, it sucks. The feeling sucks right now. Defined. Okay, you defined the feeling. Now we can sit with that a little bit, write it, express it through art, through creativity, through words, through passion. That's aimed at the goal of understanding what this means for us. It's a journey. It's not going to be instantaneous. So then don't then beat yourself up for not understanding it initially too at the same time. So that part too, and etc. And also having your boundaries and a healthy ego, like I talked about on last week's podcast. I was talking about healthy ego. I was talking, there's sometimes there's too much talk on dissipating the ego. Bullshit. That ego, healthy ego, helps us. It saves us, because we get to define our boundaries, because sometimes, and I've had connections like this where, people will come in, trying to define our boundaries, you know so it's like they see potential, they see goodness, so they butter you up, they make you feel good, and then upon that, they see that your boundaries are not defined. Your boundaries are not defined, so like I said, they define them for you, and what the boundaries should be defined as, because they're dictating it. And once they dictate your boundaries because they don't see any, then it makes it convenient for them to stay in moral high ground because there's no boundaries that they can cross because they dictated it. Very fucking sneaky. And I've had connections like that. Okay? So again, draw your boundaries up front and make it clear. You know? And what sucks sometimes about motherfuckers like this is they will fucking they they'll respect boundaries all day, but once they see someone without boundaries, shit is so sneaky. That shit, that's some that's some low ass shit. Okay? Just straight up. So know your worth, okay? And yeah, those can be hard lessons to come back from, but I mean, honestly, with the death card, Bobo, I mean, you got this, okay? Transforming, ending shit that no longer serves you. And, someone else could be going through, some toxic shit, kind of like fighting with themselves and their own toxicity, trying to like talk themselves out of no, I'm not toxic. It's them, it's not me, blah, 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 blah. And they're having a hell of a time fucking figuring it out because, motherfucker, you didn't own your shit. So if you don't own your shit, how can you bring it to the table? How can you tell someone else to correct their shit if you don't correct your own shit? Okay? You can't stand on moral high ground when you're not making too much sense. So, anyway, it's like, this, that, and the other, and also, when it comes to like, you know, people, just boo boo, you deserve honest connection, okay? You know, define yourself, draw your boundaries. People that are like telling you, don't you hate that shit? People like talking to you, they're like, oh, you look, you don't look too good. You don't look happy. This, that, and the other. Bitch, that's not a question. Bitch, that's not, hey, how's your day? Hey, what's going on? This, that, and the other. That's not honest conversation and honest question to then bring up, like, how's your day? What's going on? Connect. That's an indication that they want to connect. Or no, it doesn't provide confusion in the sense that, oh, you don't look good. You look like shit. You don't look happy. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that shit? You've already made up your mind, so we're gonna go off that? No, bullshit, motherfucker. Okay, I'm gonna flip that shit back in my favor because I get to define how I feel. I'm great. How are you? Okay, that's how you come at a conversation. Okay, so boom, right there. That's so it's like, so let's talk. Let's, how's your day? How's this? How's that? And the other. Like, people that truly want to connect with you will talk to you and, you know provide things that aren't so definitive. Like, don't define me without, like, hey, how are you too? So it's like, it's called open conversation, provides a question to connect and go further within the conversation, you know so that's how I see it. That's just how I see it. That's my perspective, you know on how to, not slip into this paradigm of toxic, what is positivity, spiritual bypassing, all that stuff. you know just being honest with yourself, and even if it's uncomfortable, and even if you have a bad day, a bad week, whatever, okay, that's honest, that's authentic, that's real, that's okay. So yeah, but that was this. If you're new, boo boo, whether you're watching this on the live or post live, welcome. And if you've been here before, you already know what happened. You just got read to fucking filth, okay? So that was this episode of the podcast, Boo Boo Toxic Positivity. The energy was kind of like going left and right and up and down, but there's a lot of paradigms here when it comes to, like, being told about your perspective and having to constantly staying positive when you want to just speak your authentic fucking truth. Okay, so I don't know. That's just my perspective, Boo Boo. Hope it resonated. Hope it helped you. If you want to book a reading with me, feel free to connect with me via DM. I do mini readings on live stream on TikTok if you want to follow me on there. If you want to DM me about any of the services I provide, you can get a hold of me, Boo Boo. Okay? So through DM, I'm available. So love yourself, trust yourself. Always know that you're bad as fuck. Always know that you're amazing. Stop gaslighting yourself. Know your worth. And shit that doesn't fucking serve you anymore, let it fall at the fucking wayside. Fuck those motherfuckers. Anyway, okay. Bobo, love you. Okay. Oh, it's my birthday tomorrow. I forgot about that. Happy almost birthday. The October Libras. Okay. The October Libras ending Libra season and brave enough to start up Scorpio season. We're almost at Scorpio season, guys. Okay? So anyway, I love each and every single one of you. Like I said, I always love each and every single one of you. Happy birthday. Thank you, Bobo. Thank you. Always know that you are more than enough. Yes, absolutely. So with that, Boo Boo, love you. And DM me if you want to book a session. Okay? And as always, love yourself, trust yourself. You are fucking amazing. Oh, wait, hold on. It fell. You are fucking amazing. Mwah! Bye, Boo Boo. Talk to you later. There will be an episode next week. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook to see when I go live. Okay? Bye. Bye.